remember when we went to, say, West Bengal, right? Like when we were traveling around in these small villages, like election
Yeah.
coverage, etc. You remember that point, no, where we were actually asking people ki kya dekhte ho, TV dekhte ho, etc. And some people actually recognized you, which I was very surprised by. Like
Yeah.
that, like A, you do a show in English. B, like you're on
When,
YouTube.
yeah,
Uh,
it's a very,
it's a very strange place to find a nuisance watcher. I would say, I
yeah.
would put it that way. I mean, sure, there was one guy out of a village of 500, but there was that one person. Do you think that is happening more because you also traveled to, like, right now, Himachal Pradesh? You went to cover in Gujarat. What was the scene there? Did you find the same thing happening? Was it more?
More and more I do, especially with
Hmm.
younger people. And there's one interesting, uh, I mean, this is just anecdotal,
Hmm.
but I see that a lot of people who come to me who watch TV nuisance, they're young people. I mean, of course, a lot of them are, and some of them don't watch the show. They just say, "मैंने आपका reel देखा है." So they are
Ah.
not even, they're stuck in that real universe.
Hmm.
And then I may pop up as just one reel because we've started doing YouTube shorts, so we do a reel.
Hmm.
They'll just say, "आप वो जो reel बनाती हो, मैं reel देखना बहुत funny है."
Uh,
So there's no understanding it. There's a show or there's a newslaundry.com platform. It's just reels. So that's one set. Then there are, of course, dedicated watchers. Uh, I would say people who critically look at news. Interesting thing, and this correlates against to the CSDS report that I was talking to at the beginning, the Loki thing. A lot of people happen to be young Muslims.
hmm.
And that is because when you look at television news today, I think nightly prime time, Muslims are at the heart of every news debate, right? It's
Hmm.
why are they making so many babies? Why are they doing this jihad or that jihad? Or, some or the other conspiracy theory. They're at the center of a lot of unfortunate rumor mongering, unfortunate hateful propaganda that we see on television news. So I think that community especially feels targeted by television news. And so a lot of people I meet, Muslim who say, "Oh, we watch you and thank you for saying this, or thank you for showing the truth." And the CSDS report also says that there's a huge difference between the Hindu and Muslim community when it comes to consuming news. Hindus tend to have more trust on news, and
Hmm.
Muslims tend to trust news less. So that is
Interesting.
anecdotally, I see this as a pattern sometimes that often I find a Muslim gentleman or a lady who will
Hmm.
come up and say, thanks for doing that show on Shaheen Bagh,
Hmm.
saying that we are not ISIS or whatever. Not ISIS,
Hmm.
sorry, ISI.
Hmm.
Or, basically, thank you for fighting the hateful propaganda that we are subjected to every night. So that kind of reactions I do get a lot, which is
So
a
the
very
odd,
sad testament to what's happening on television news.
that's very true, and it's actually interesting, right, Karan, where like the segmenting is happening in news consumption now, which is like, as she said, like the majority community actually trusts news more than the minority community, because obviously the hate is going towards
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
right? So, like, I just want to ask from your experience also, let's say when you watch a TV news, I mean, you're watching it, maybe ironically, what does it make you feel otherwise? Like, does it make you angry? What happens there?
Stress. It's
Stress.
stress, but like not like the kind of stress that's like it's affecting me too. But it's just that the shouty nature of the debates,
Hmm.
also the kind of topics that they choose, it's always kind of geared towards. I like in my mind, news is supposed to be right down the middle, right? You're
Hmm.
not taking sides or whatever. But here you have your biases so blatantly put forward,
Hmm.
and you have these certain anchors who kind of are directing the conversation towards a certain side,
Hmm. Hmm.
and there's only one dude who's kind of talking from the other side, and he's going to get ganged up upon by everybody, and it's just sad to see that. And then it's even sadder to see that people, especially the elder guy who's sitting next to me,
Yeah.
he's enjoying it, and enjoying it to the extent like he's consuming it.
Hmm.
He's consuming it. It's his entertainment, or it's his information that it's information that's coming to him, and he's receptive to it.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So obviously it's going to affect him also. And
Hmm.
we have a lot of these arguments, not arguments, but like debates over dinner
Hmm.
after having watched it, and we're like, you need to kind of see it from both sides, right?
Hmm.
So that those kind of debates also happen.
Hmm.
So sure, it stimulates conversation. I mean, thumbs up for that, but not in the way that I would want them to. Like
Yeah.
not in the way where I'm telling them no, what you're watching is actually wrong.
Mhm.
Maybe the way that they are actually trying to direct the conversation over. But otherwise, debates now there are like some 3 different types of debates happening. There are 3 Arnabs on Republic TV
Yeah.
now, and they're all trying to do the same thing. They're all I don't want to use the word wannabe, but they're like just Arnab lights to
Yeah.
to a great extent.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how he has like kind of inspired this whole culture.
टेम्पलेट बनाया उसने basically.
Template, exactly.
हाँ, टेम्पलेट बनाया. You know it's so I was talking to my dad. My dad used to watch a lot of these as well channels. But then he started watching NDTV suddenly, and I was like, क्या हो गया? You know what changed, right? And he's like, what you said, right? Which is like stress होता है.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm trying to reduce stress in my life, so I
Yeah.
mean NDTV just seems more calmer and like
Yeah.
at least news there, whatever. But he was a big fan of these channels as well.